Now, I just love that phrase. When I saw it, I thought, I Googled immediately. I said, is there any sort of reference to Gangnam Style? Wow, again, it's a bit like Caught by the Heart. You came up with the phrase. It's an image that you put into words. Tell us about it.
I put a disclaimer in there because what happened was, I loved that music you sent me. To me, it was very whimsical and I think I said to you, it made me think of Paris, Lido, the early part of last century. I don't know, I was kind of going off on that tangent for a while. And I decided in the end, because I came up with a tune, which I put down with a synthesizer sort of part, a string synthesizer thing, playing the tune. I thought, well, that's a good tune, but what am I going to sing about? And I wrote a whole lot of words, and they weren't quite doing it for me because they were too whimsical. And then I played it to my wife, Maria Scona, and she's done this before for me. And I said, what does this music make you think of? And she said, A Galleon of Stars. And so it came straight from her head. It was a gift, a gift from the gods. And off I went. Yeah, she's done that for me before. She's very clever and intuitive. She didn't think about it. She just said that straight away when I played it to her. So yeah, I wish I could take credit for it, but I can't. But the next best thing, is that your nearest and dearest can deliver you such a beautiful phrase. And then off I went. But then to go from there to talking about young men fighting wars was a whole other thing but it just sort of locked in for me when I was thinking about the romance, how that young men are often sold the lie that war is romantic and, all of that. And I'd seen it with my dad and his stories. And I'd seen it plenty of films and footage before of, as much as they were nervous and scared and, their mothers were crying and their families were upset. But there was also that thing of, this is a huge adventure. And of course it isn't an adventure at all. You're just being used, by the older brigade. So
I mean, again, with the withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan, and we're sort of examining this whole scenario once again, and especially here in the UK, there's been a lot of stuff in the last few weeks about what was it for? All these poor young people, guys who died, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, and we've all pulled out. It looks like the Taliban's coming back. What was that about? Again, history has not taught us anything, especially regarding Afghanistan.
I mean, the only way that war's ever going to stop is if young men say, well, no, we're not going to go, and there'll be no soldiers, and maybe they'll learn to fight with robots, but that's it. That's where it has to start. The refusal to fight.
So again, I thought it was a very interesting sort of subject matter to have on that song, and to me, I always got the vibe before I sent it to you that it was a bit like a Victorian merry-go-round or something, and so I could relate. I was almost like First World War type thing. So when you came up with that lyric, I thought, oh right, somehow that's happened. That's happened. So that was when we get to the last track, called La Música del Tiempo, and again, this was like Ruleta de la Fortuna. It was one of those sort of where I was thinking chamber music, sort of, so I'll only try and use classical type of instruments. It wasn't part of the Latin groups. I sent it to you, and tell us a bit about the lyric, because maybe I'd seen once that painting, but how come tell us about the painting that led to some of the lyrics.
I've never seen the painting, Phil. I've heard about it, and I've seen representations of it, But yeah, dancing to the music of time. I just love the idea of those four characters, and people say different things about them. You know, some people say that they represent the seasons, but I love that thing of poverty, labor, wealth, and pleasure. You know, those four things, and going round and round. It's kind of like, again, the Wheel of Fortune idea. You know, that what goes up, and then you go round again and round again, and yeah, I just, you know, it just flowed from there. And it's a very simple sort of song in a way.